Brian makes it in first. Nice going. Really fast on the trigger finger today. Actually, Uros, you are second. You're not a turd. You're second. Brian came in twice. So he got the first and second spot, apparently, according to you. But no, you're second. Bjorn coming in third. Jesus. He's still medaled. I mean, you still medaled, right? So, I mean, you took home a bronze, which, I mean, back in the day, dude, during the Bronze Age, bronze was really important. Hasn't been important at all since then, really. I don't know. What do we use bronze for anymore? Like bathroom fixtures? What do you use bronze for? Anyway. Hola, Slong. Nice to see you there, Slong. Yeah, I mean, he got in on the podium, you know. I mean, if you're third out of three, then you're a loser. But, you know, it's all right. You know, it's something to be proud of. Wristwatch case. It's true. That's true. Yeah. Wristwatch cases. I mean, not really good wristwatch cases, right? Yeah, Oris, I guess. Yeah, Oris is okay. It's okay. We'll give him an honorable mention, I guess. All right, let's give it a few minutes, guys, and then we'll kick things off. How's everybody's isolation going? Staying at home, growing beards. Everybody looking a mess. Not wearing pants to your Zoom meetings. I mean, what's going on? I don't know. What is the work? What work? I was just trying to figure out what work meant. I mean, what do you, like, I don't know. I'm still kind of not really understanding what she was talking about. So maybe she'll come in here and actually, you know, give us, well, actually, so we can understand what her question was, I guess. COVID-19. Well, here in Estonia, look, if I looked out the window right now, it looks like a normal day to me. People are out about, cars are in the streets, people are coming out of the supermarket across the street, there's cars in the parking lot. I would say that generally most people are going outside in the city. I don't know how it is outside of the city, but I would say a vast majority of people that are here are outside at some point during the day. Social distancing, I mean, you see people with masks, people, you know, you go to the supermarket, people line 1 meter behind or 2 meters behind the last person, et cetera, but it doesn't look all that, everything's closed, that's for sure. We're definitely on lockdown in that sense of the word. Schools are closed. Most government offices are closed. You know, pharmacies and supermarkets are open for the most part. So in that case, it looks like everywhere else in the world almost. But people generally are outside and trying to enjoy, you know, a little bit of sun, since you don't get much of that in Estonia. Drinking beer and playing PS4. Right on, living a dream. I'm tired from work because I get tired to work from babysitting. Yeah. I love when people, you know, when people are gonna have a kid and everything. It's like, you know, I'm pregnant, my wife's pregnant. Everybody goes, congratulations. You know, if you're a parent, then, you know, congratulations. You're like, dude, you are fucked for the next couple years, man. And then, you know, hopefully your kid does well and actually has a job when he gets older. Because if not, you're going to be paying for that dude's or that dudette's nonsense for, you know, the next 30, 40 years. So, you know, good luck with that. You know, but I guess that's too long to put on a Hallmark card, right? So, I mean, congratulations is a little bit easier. Sculptures, mirrors, musical instruments, coins, and medals. Fucking Renaissance, man. Look at Harold. Look at Harold over here. Maybe she was the girl from the window in town. Could be. I have no idea, actually. I don't know. But hey, Jens. Nah, it wasn't the CM office. It was the floor above us. Yeah, I mean, when we do naked dancing parties, man, I mean, we do it right. It's one girl in a window. It's amateurs, you know. All right, cool. All right, guys, I guess we can probably get started here. Let's see. I got to break out my AMA doc here, or else I'll have no idea what I'm supposed to be talking about. All right, here we go. How many female employees are CM now? Let me think. Here in the office, we have I don't know why I'm making funny noises while I'm counting. I could have just counted, but that would just give shit away. I think we have 5 in the office. Somebody can correct me if they want, but I think we're at 5. Based money, forehead. I mean, I get the word forehead. I got that one. Based, I get no money means too, I hope. Anyway, moving on. All right. So for those of you who have never been with us on this fabulous show, somebody likes to call This Week in Crypto. My name is Kevin Murcko, and I'm the CEO here at CoinMetro. That's why I got this, and that's why you see all this mess behind me. I was thinking about tattooing the CM logo on my forehead, leading back into the bald spot. Anyway, I'm going off on a tangent. So I am Kevin Murcko. Again, like I said, I'm CEO here at CoinMetro. We do this every week. Or I guess I do this every week. We do it, though. Everybody's here with me. So we do this every week. It's called This Week in Crypto. We have an agenda. I do market news first. I have 10 pieces of market news curated by our fabulous elite Telegram group. I go over each one. I give a comment. If they talk about things that trigger me, like Binance, I may take 2 or 3 minutes, maybe even 5 minutes talking about one topic. I can't help myself. But on the rest of those topics, I'll generally take about a minute. So roughly anywhere from 1 to maybe 15 minutes, and 10 to 15 minutes. And we're usually out of that segment. Then we move on to Kevin Explains Crypto. I usually have a term or a phrase. Somebody gave it to me somehow. I don't know. It's on my cheat sheet. And I define what it means. That's it. Easy as that. Then we do live Q&A here on YouTube with all these fabulous individuals. So if you have a question, post it and I'll answer it. And then Reddit questions right after, or sometimes before, depending on how many questions. Look, this week we have 3 questions from Reddit. So I may do those before we do the live nonsense, or I may not. So you have to tune in to find out. I can't tell you what's going to happen. I'm going to start out with the news. We're going to start on that right now. When I'm done with the news, then we'll move on to number 2, which I just said, and I don't feel like repeating. So here we go, starting with the news. Number 1 on a list of 10 lawsuits filed against Binance, Block One, BitMEX, and other crypto-related companies. Yeah, so these are civil lawsuits, class action lawsuits, civil, not criminal, not brought on by the SEC or the CFTC or anybody, or any regulators or government for that matter. These are civil lawsuits brought by individuals in class action against these companies. So what does that mean? Well, that means a lot of people are pissed off because they probably lost money and they're trying to get some of that money back. What does it also mean? Well, in the U.S., the way the U.S. kind of legal system works, when precedent is made by judges in these cases, it very well could lead to the SEC or some other regulator also pressing charges of a criminal nature. Could also be civil injunctions, et cetera, applied by these governments. So it's interesting to watch. It's kind of a first step in what could be a long road for some of these companies. Obviously, some of the mentioned companies, I think there's 16 all in all, already have litigation or grand juries pending against them in New York State. So this is just kind of adding fuel to the fire. Number 2 on a list of 10, institutional money flooded into Bitcoin before 7,000 rally, data shows. I love how it's a 7,000 rally when previous to that, obviously, it was higher. And I think they're talking about when we recently just had our low of 3.7K USD, and now we jump back up towards 7. I don't know. I'm not even going to read this, right? Because I think the speculation, the level of speculation when people talk about institutional money flows into crypto is massive. Lots of speculation, and and some of the data points that they use make a bit of sense. Most don't, but some make a little bit of sense. Having said that, look, when an asset falls by 50% in like one candle, you better believe that some smart money is going to flow in and try to catch some type of wave back up. So yeah, but who do you think was selling that caused the wave down in the first place? You think those were all retail guys? All these hodlers, all these retail guys that have been holding on since 20K? You think they sold on the way down? right? I mean, the thing here is that everybody has the same data sets, right? We all can see this public information on chain. But you can interpret it different. Just like we can all see the Bible or the Quran and read it. I guarantee you, though, we're all going to interpret it differently. Same thing here, all interpreted differently. What I would say is institutional money flooded. I guess you could define flooded. Were there institutional money in the pop back up from 3.7 up towards 7? Yeah, probably. Was it flooded? Was it a majority? I haven't seen any compelling data to tell me it was a majority or flooded, at least according to my definition of flooded, which means a lot. But anyway, we will see. What it tells me is if there was a lot, what happened? Why has the rally fizzled? Was there just no more buying pressure going up towards and past 7? So what happens when the rally fizzles? Are they just holding that asset, or are they selling it back to take a profit and get some of the money back they lost on the fall down? Number 3 in a list of 10, BIS, that's the Bank of International Settlement, for those taking notes, calls for central bank digital currencies amid coronavirus pandemic. I love how coronavirus gets tied into every news story now. It's like lemonade stand in Montgomery, Alabama closes. Corona, like, I don't know. Actually, that's probably directly because of Corona. You don't really sell a lot of lemonade during an epidemic, I guess. Maybe you do. Maybe lemonade cures coronavirus. Maybe just because I said that now, Trump will come out in his daily briefing today and say everybody should drink lemonade. Should we make a test? I could tweet about it as well. Maybe he'll pick up the tweet. Having said that, look, so the Bank of International Settlement saying that, yeah, central bank digital currencies. Look, does this have anything to do with coronavirus? I mean, you can make the case that, paper money, blah, 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 disease, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, because, debit card, hardware wallet, no disease on those, blah, blah, blah. Come on, guys. At the end of the day, they're needed, not so much because of coronavirus, but coronavirus shows us proves one point why they're desperately needed. And that's, look at all this stimulus money that countries are throwing at economies, and look how fucked the system is for delivering that money. I mean, the U.S. using the basically trying to find information about from your last time you filed taxes, and then trying to figure out how much money they're supposed to give you, and then using the same means by which they usually pay out tax refunds. You have other countries. I just saw a story about New Jersey that they're trying to find programmers for a 60-year-old programming language because the way that they plan to pay out workman's comp benefits, or not workman's comp, but some type of compensation right now, it's just overloading the system. I think, yeah, it's whatever, people jobless or whatever. So it would definitely help solve those issues. That's for sure. So I think, yeah, indirectly Corona, yeah. But I don't think it has anything to do with the virus itself. It's just the fact that they're starting to realize that, the old systems that suck, put under any pressure, suck a little bit more than they suck normally. Yeah. So number 4 on the list of 10, Bitcoin garners new users as governments flood world with fiat. Well, Bitcoin probably garners new users on a daily basis anyway. Has it had more users? Well, there's been spoken a lot about. Don't think that the vast majority of normies out there are hearing they're going to print 2.2 trillion worth of stimulus in the U.S. Germany is going to pump 800 billion into businesses, blah, blah. And then some normal person out there is going, Bitcoin. No, it's not happening, folks. It's not happening at all. People have other shit to worry about, like toilet paper, right? I mean, God Christ, if you haven't hoarded toilet paper, you are screwed, right? Because it seems to be that's the only thing people are hoarding right now. And Purell. I mean, toilet paper with Purell, you are a king among kings, my friend. But so, look, there are new people coming into Bitcoin for sure. There always are. Maybe there's slightly more coming in now. Maybe. Is there mass amounts of people flooding into Bitcoin because they now realize because of Corona that, they just lost 40% of their savings, 60% of their portfolio. They have no job, and somehow Bitcoin is going to save their lives? No, probably not. If they don't have money to eat, they don't have money to buy Bitcoin. I think that, the people that have money may be reallocating money to different sources, and people are, worried about hyperinflation. This is a whole other topic I could talk about for quite some time. But hyperinflation probably is not going to happen in the United States for many reasons. The US dollar is much different than the German mark during World War II, or than the Zimbabwe dollar in recent times, or the Argentine peso. You're talking about a whole different animal. And most of those rules fortunately or unfortunately do not apply. But most people don't dig that deep. And if they don't have money for essentials and they're worried about their job security and their portfolios, they're not thinking about allocating things into a speculative asset. That's for sure. Number 5 on the list of 10, Germany's crypto custody law hits a snag. Startups can't get bank accounts. Where have I heard this one before? Look, the word startup automatically makes you a risk, right? Add on to the fact that you're taking, you're storing or you're dealing in, well, I guess, I don't know who can't get the bank accounts here. I guess we're probably talking about, actually, let me look at this one. Usually I don't like to look at articles because it slows me down and I actually have to read. I'm not saying reading's bad. Everybody should be reading. Uh-oh. Are we frozen? I think we were frozen there for a second. We still frozen? Anybody can give me a not frozen? I guess we're not frozen. Okay. So I'm coming here. Germany's crypto custody law hits a snag. Startups can't open bank accounts. Yeah. More than 30 banks have reportedly expressed interest in Germany's new crypto custody license. Those firms may still have to put up with anti-crypto sentiment. If you try to open a bank account for a company that is in the space, you are working with the institutional banking arm of the bank. Okay, we get calls from different crypto companies that go to the German market and get regulated. Most of them have this problem. All right, anyway, same problem everybody's seeing around the world. Look, banks don't understand it yet for the most part. And if they do understand it, then they start to understand the fact that most of these companies deal in transactional. They're going to only give transactional income to the bank, meaning they're only doing transactions of money in and out. The bank doesn't make a lot of money on that. They're not taking loans. They're not taking credit. They probably won't give them the credit in anyway. Thus, they're not making money. And if they're holding money in client trust accounts, they can't even give loans on the back of that money because they're not allowed to under the regulation. So they literally make no money. The compliance risk is outstandingly huge. Why? Because they're taking third-party assets, and then forget it if they're virtual assets, because the security issues there can also be huge, or they think they are, and thus the risk to them is large and they're not making any money. Why would they take you on as a client? That's not just Germany, that's everywhere. And unfortunately, until crypto companies can show banks that they can actually be profitable for the bank, and there's a reason for them to actually partner with the crypto entities, this probably won't change. Moving on, number 6 on a list of 10, Bitcoin naysayer Jamie Dimon praises 2 trillion stimulus while predicting Great Recession. I love how, I don't even think this is really a crypto-related story, just in the fact that he's a Bitcoin naysayer. Of course, he was a Bitcoin naysayer. Then he became to say that, then he said something about his daughter buying Bitcoin, and then, you know, he created his own crypto asset. So praising, look, to be honest, I hate to say it here, but you can praise the stimulus and say, well, they got something done. Great. But yeah, of course there's going to be a recession, a fucking huge recession. Anybody that doesn't see the lasting economic effects that this is going to have, this lockdown. Now, you can watch CNN and BBC and Al Jazeera, well, maybe not Al Jazeera. They might be a little more truthful, to be honest, about all this nonsense. But you can watch all these cable news stations around the world, or local news stations around the world, and believe that every hospital is overrun with individuals and that the world's coming to an end. What I have to ask about that, and I know this is kind of getting off on a tangent here, but you know, don't people die every day anyway? I mean, out of the almost 8 billion people on the face of this earth, don't some people die every day? I mean, aren't there massive amounts of people dying every day? You know, how is an additional 80K deaths and 2 million hospitalizations globally really affecting the healthcare system so badly? I mean, how shitty is that system? You know, anyway, what I'm saying is that people don't understand that these lockdowns. So maybe you're saving lives because honestly, you don't have the data to know if you're actually saving lives. And if you think you have the data, then you're ignorant to the fact that you don't understand data. We're missing the biggest portion of this data, which is how many people actually have corona that haven't died. We don't have those numbers because we don't have enough tests to test people. We don't know how many people have antigens. We won't know for years. So we have this big unknown number that's sitting in our faces that we can't see. And we're making decisions based on that, saying, well, it's better to lock down because people won't die, but we're going to screw the economy because we'd rather have people alive than have people and out of work and destitute than, you know, at work and maybe getting sick. And maybe they're right. but maybe they're wrong. What is definite is that the recession that comes out of this will be huge. It will be the biggest global recession anyone alive has ever seen, and possibly the biggest recession in modern times since we had money. And it's going to be much bigger than any war. Imagine if this starts to create civil unrest and civil war in many countries. Imagine that those wars are basically caused by the effects of what we did for Corona. Anyway, massive, fucking massive. That's what it will be. It will be massive. Number 7, global stablecoins could pose systemic risks to EU. Not really. What poses a systemic risk to the EU is the EU itself. It was a failed experiment from day one, and well, it's been shown that it's failing, and eventually it probably will fail. Will that mean the euro fails? Fails, maybe. Does it go away? Probably not. At some point, I think some countries are going to stop wanting to foot the bill for everybody else. That's going to, and I'm not saying that happens now, but we're putting a big stress test on the euro right now during this pandemic. Global stablecoins. Look, if we had something like a Facebook that has 2 billion users, which they don't have, but let's assume they really have 2 billion users that all started using one particular type of currency, sure, it can cause systemic risks, not just for the EU and the euro, but also for USD and the dollar and the pound and everybody else. But those things haven't happened yet. Will they happen? I don't know. Something like Tether doesn't really have a systemic risk to the EU. This is one of the reasons why central bank issued digital currencies will happen, and they'll happen probably rather quicker than later now, mainly because they're starting to see, one, the benefits, and if they don't do it first, the risks. And while you may believe that having private money is a great thing, private money can ruin public institution. And if it does, then that's going to ruin a lot of the things in your daily life. So central bank issued digital currencies are important. We can't just change the way our whole ecosystems work. Our entire macroeconomic machine can't change overnight. So we have to go there gradually, and central bank issued digital currencies are the next step. Number 8 on the list, 14 million Bitcoin fund gets listed on Toronto Stock Exchange. Yeah, it's a closed-end fund. Who cares? Number 9 on the list. Who fucking cares? I'm sorry, I forgot. I haven't said that one in a while. Number 9 on the list of 10. Internet voting is not secure and blockchain won't help, warns scientific body. Yeah, I would pretty much probably say they're right with that. At least internet voting is definitely not secure. Blockchain, all right, it can make it immutable, but one of the major reasons why it can make the results immutable, which would solve some certain things, hanging chads. Everybody remembers that bullshit from 2000 in the U.S. election. And if you don't, just Google hanging Chad. I know it kind of sounds like a really bad gay porno film from like 1973. But this is not child friendly this week, unfortunately. Blame Corona, hashtag blame Corona. Anyway, one of the things that it definitely helps with would be miscounting, people, votes being changed, votes being lost for sure. But garbage in, garbage out, guys. And blockchain doesn't solve that. Meaning if you get fake votes in, they just become immutable fake votes. That doesn't help anything. Number 10 on the list of 10, Telegram's fight against SEC will help push cryptocurrency legislation. Yeah, I've said this a billion times. In the US, the way laws work is this. Nobody does shit. Then there's a case. The case is basically put down by a judge. The judge makes a precedent. The legislators use that precedent to create a law, and then the regulators enforce it. So this is 100% accurate. It's kind of a no shit Sherlock comment though, because been there, done that, said that. Have a T-shirt with the logo with the slogan on it. Wore it like in 1983, the first time I said it. So again, kind of. Who fucking cares? But yes, Telegram and every other case, including those civil cases we talked about, number 1 on the list of 10, will also lead to more legislation. That's for sure. It doesn't mean it's going to be good legislation or legislation that anybody likes, but it will lead to it. That's for sure. All right, let's jump into Kevin Explains Crypto real quick. This week we have a pretty cool word this week, masternode. Masternode. Yeah. So I guess in order to explain what a masternode is, I probably should explain what a node is. So there's 3 types of nodes, more or less. Node, full node, masternode, right? So break it down, a node in terms of cryptocurrency is basically any device that holds a wallet, right? When you have a wallet, you basically need to download the entire chain, the entire blockchain onto that device, and you're syncing constantly to actually see when new transactions come in on the chain, right? That's a node. A full node not only is doing that, but it's also processing transactions, right? A master node takes it one step further, and a master node not only can process transactions, it's remunerated for processing those transactions, and it can also play a role in governance. It can also play a role in other things. It can have different roles that are special depending on what blockchain we're talking about here. They can be slightly different. They can be very different. The first master node, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, was Dash, but now there are multitudes of cryptos that actually have some type of master node built into their ecosystem. So there you go. All right, so I'm gonna do Reddit questions real quick, guys, and then we can jump back into live Q&A, or jump into live Q&A. So K Savage has 3 questions on Reddit. Three, guys. Okay, here we go. Would like to ambassador in the state of Washington, but no point telling me can use CoinMetro. How soon till I can start bringing people the good news? Okay, I'm gonna read this again. Would like to ambassador in state of Washington. Okay, so you're asking if you can be an ambassador in the state of Washington. All right, I'll have to come back to you on that one, because to be honest, I haven't checked every 50 state since we had to do it initially to figure out where we could operate, having a FinCEN registration. So I'll have to come back to you, and I'll let you know on that. Number 1. Tag me on Telegram. I know you're there, Ken. So just tag me at Kevin Murcko, and I'll answer you there. Can you develop a section of our account that would make it super easy to do your taxes? Really break everything down to long, shorts, P&L. Well, what we can do is just have a more detailed transaction list. Every country requires different information for your taxes, and they'll treat these transactions in a different way. So that's almost impossible, but we can definitely make it a bit easier so you can get year-to-date profits, year-to-date losses, etc. And I would say go to our demo feedback channel and post that there. If you don't want to post it there, tag me with it in our main Telegram channel, and I'll make sure the guys get it. This is already on our to-do list somewhere. And considering the fact that taxes for most people now are delayed, this might be a good time of year to start working on it. Also, like stocks, is it possible to put in the option first in, first out for tax reasons? Actually, our order books were already adjusted to FIFO some time ago. What exactly do you mean? Because if you're buying assets, let's say on the exchange, you're actually holding those assets physically. They're not CFDs. They're not. So you got to explain to me what you mean there by first in, first out in your own portfolio, and then I can answer that more. So tag me on Telegram. We'll get to the bottom of this. Okay, moving on to Ask Me Anything here. So I'm going to jump in and see what we got going on here. Okay, female employees. We answered that one already. Money skeleton, money belly, and money forehead, the holy trinity. Yeah, I was money forehead. I remember this. I remember I was donned with that title some time ago. Money forehead. Cool. For sure, AMA would not be such a great show without the famous loyal users. Yeah. I 100%. Like if you guys weren't here, literally, I would just be talking to myself, which would get boring, probably. I would hope. If it doesn't get boring, then I probably have a few problems lurking that I haven't yet figured out about myself. We have 8 female employees, and really? You know, with all this Corona lockdown, I guess nobody's here right now, right? So I can't even count. 8? Fuck, we're awesome, aren't we? Jesus Christ, we should get some like women in blockchain money for that or something. There's got to be some money around for that somewhere. Please, somebody do some research. Okay, time for some serious questions. Someone said that there would be an updated Q2 roadmap. Yeah. Oliver is actually working on that one. We were discussing this the other day. When? Soon. Where? Somewhere. Probably Telegram, and then probably Medium as well, I would imagine, and then maybe blog, but somewhere soon for sure. How is marketing strategy progressing? And is El Murcko actively involved in that? El Murcko is involved, and it's progressing. So landing pages and things like that are right now being produced. Some content was already, some copy was already created for the first 3 landing pages, and now design is being worked on. And next week, I think we'll probably have some initial designs done, and we might have to, maybe we'll do some amending here or there on some copy, but it's moving forward. How is the CSD progressing? Have you decided on what will be the first issuance yet? Haven't decided on the first issuance. CSD is progressing as it should be. Today, I was actually working on putting together multi-sigs for our stablecoin wallets and getting that set up through AWS and all that good stuff, nice and secure. It's quite the process, to secure those things. I haven't had to do SSH prompts and shit like that for years because I just haven't had to do it. And now doing it again, bringing back old memories. So, fucking awesome. Is there a good source for reporting actual crypto trade volumes? No. Main reason being is that since there's no standardized systems for exchanges to use, they all use their own system, which means when you connect to their system, the data you get is already suspect. It's not audited. Nobody's really regulated. And if they are, they're regulated under things like we're regulated here in Estonia, which is mainly about AML and KYC. No one has really reporting standards unless they have an e-money license. But even then, their reporting standards aren't going to cover volumes traded on their crypto exchange. So at the end of the day, all volumes are suspect, and no one can have accurate volumes because the source doesn't necessarily need to be, is not necessarily accurate. Is there a more specific plan when marketing will launch? Yes, of course there is. What exactly would you like to talk about? There's a plan on where, how, what, all that stuff is covered in the plan. Now, I don't know if as the general, I want to run out and give my entire marketing plan to the public before we start, because some of the things just may be copied before we can do them. But generally, we've discussed this a few times here on the show already. We've discussed the fact that we're doing obviously digital, social, and we're going to try to go a little bit outside of the box as well, maybe in certain regions where we know we have high concentrations of clients. And that could be, print, it could be other types of media, et cetera, in different regions. Any updates regarding getting more currencies on the exchange? What about debit cards? Yep. So in talks with another provider that we actually were in talks with over a year ago. We're now in the onboarding process, past the risk part. Now we're just waiting on them to finalize some of their own internal policies. I'm told that we should be able to get on board in the next 2 weeks. That will start our journey to get our cards online within 4 weeks after that. This will be our initial card program. So it'll only contain one card instead of multiple. Multiples will come probably 3 to 9 months after the initial card launch. As far as currencies, pound and euro will be quite quick. Other currencies, Australian dollar, Canadian dollar, and other currencies, both in Europe and Asia, will roll out probably in the next, if I had to guess, because this is still a guess because it doesn't completely rely on us. But now we do have one provider that everybody knows about because we've been trying to get them trying to get on board with them for a while now. They are within weeks. We now are onboarding with another company which has these ready now, but it will take us 2 to 3 weeks to onboard. I would say in May, you will see other currencies, but that full list of currencies may take several months to roll out. Have you thought of allocating 100,000 XCM for a raffle competition prize to get more new users? Yes, but any type of prizes like that don't make sense until you have people actually looking at you. We need to up the visitors to the website before we can start to offer things like that, or we're simply going to be offering them to a rather small amount of individuals, and then we'll have to rely on word of mouth, which doesn't always work like you expect it to. So yes, all those things, and you talk to Oliver about that. He has his promo section that he had commissioned and built for us, where you can create promotions like that instantly and create URLs and whatnot. So with UTMs and great marketing URLs. So at the end of the day, yes, we've definitely thought about that, but we need marketing to roll out, and we need to start bringing in new visitors before we can really start to roll out exciting promotions. Yep, not running out of XTM anytime soon, so don't worry about that. 100K for one-time event doesn't seem much. Well, 100K depends on what you have to do for that 100K. I mean, if you just have to sign up for an account, that's pretty remedial. If it was a competition like trading or something like that, yeah, I would say we could probably go a bit higher. But look, at the end of the day, first we need the numbers, meaning users, new viewers, new people hitting the site. Lockdowns are populistic. It's popular to save lives today and not discuss the opportunity cost of lives in the future. Yeah. Look, it's all political, guys. Politicians are following other politicians. They don't want to be that one standout that didn't lock down when lockdown is shown to work, and then they lose their election. So they take kind of that. Now the question really is in everybody's minds, or should be, was that the right choice? I don't know if it was the right choice. The problem is that from a political nature, think about this. If most people, when they want to become a politician, want to make change, then they get into politics and they realize in order to be a successful politician, you have to do what everyone else does, right? So it's kind of like you make bad decisions only to get reelected, and you get into this kind of political universe. But on the other side, even if you still want to, if some part of you is still good and wants to make change, how do you make change unless you're reelected? So you have to make these bad decisions that aren't really made to help the people to get reelected, so that eventually maybe you can help the people. So, the way politics works in the world, state works in the world, is flawed from the get-go. But I have to tell you, if I was the president of a country, and it really depends on how, Sweden made the choice not to lock down, but Sweden is, Sweden. I mean, generally speaking, looking at the data of a country, the age of the country overall, the age of the population, how many hospitals they have, what their hospitals look like normally on a normal day, based on the infection rate that you're getting from other countries, which is probably flawed, and make a decision and say, yeah, we don't need the lockdown. But when you're a country like, Italy, which obviously got hit hard and is still getting hit hard, or you're a country like the US, which is huge, or a country like China, which is huge, you have to make different decisions. So it's, I don't know what I would have done. But to be honest, I think either way you slice it, you will be deemed to be correct and incorrect, depending on who you ask. So, from less investments in healthcare going forward because of debt created by lockdowns today. Yeah, that's definitely true. Masternode sounds very similar to, yes, it does, Urus, and I almost said it live, but I decided not to. I held myself back. And you should blame Corona for that, I think. They say they're in lockdown to save old people, yet I've heard that the doctors are pressuring families to sign do not resuscitate things for the old people in hospitals. Well, that might be true because, how many times you want to resuscitate someone keeping up a bed when somebody you could possibly save needs that bed. Look, old people are susceptible to every illness. It doesn't matter what it is. Why? Because their immune systems are usually not as good. That doesn't mean all old people have bad immune systems. Some old people have great immune systems, and some young people have shitty immune systems. So if you have a pre-existing condition, and most old people do, then you're more susceptible to any illness, the common flu, the fucking cold, pneumonia, whatever, cancer. You are more susceptible because you're old. So it's not like Corona just attacks old people or whatever. Corona just attacks anybody that has a shitty immune system. Or their immune system just gets overrun, or some people just have a reaction to things, not just Corona, but your immune system is so potent that your immune system builds up so fast to fight what is a relatively benign infection. And your immune system is the one that causes you to actually get sicker. Because it gets so bulked up so fast. It's like on roid rage, and it starts to attack cells that are not, are actually good cells. And many viruses, this happens with many viruses, not just Corona. So many things that they say about Corona are true for many other types of viruses. Let's see. Hi, Kevin. Some talks on Telegram about possible debit cards close. Can you expand? Yep, they are close. So a company we were dealing with, like I said, a year ago, who we got onboarded with, and then the bank that was underwriting their entire operation said they wouldn't deal with crypto. They told us at that time they were going to get their own licenses so that they could provide services direct to us, that it would take roughly 6 months. Well, it took a little over a year. We were constantly in contact over that year. They finally said they were ready to onboard us. We are now through everything, through risk, through compliance. We're waiting for them to amend some internal policies so that they can onboard our specific type of company. And we should be onboarded. And I got an estimate of the next 2 weeks, fully onboarded, ready to roll. From there, it'll take 4 weeks to get the debit card out. So right now we're looking at approximately 6 weeks. There are also super nodes. That's true. That's true, Harold. Yeah. Well, super nodes, master. I mean, I guess it's kind of semantics. Everybody just wants to come up with their own, kind of, branding. So super nodes. But yes, you're right. Super nodes. Didn't think about that. Would you consider to provide possibility of staking XCM if there were no legal issues? Maybe, but it depends on, right now with our reward system, you kind of have a somewhat like a staking mechanism built in. Question is, I don't want to make it just to make a gimmick. There has to be a reason. Now, once XCM is liquid enough and we have margin lending, then we can literally have staking with XCM so that XCM can be used in margin, and we can make fees off of the used margin and thus pay those out with as staking rewards. And I think something like that could work, but we need to have XCM be more liquid before we can do that. Marketing plan, perhaps when don't know about where and what. Marketing is already it's in its process, right? So it's already moving forward. Next week, we should have some materials. The week after that, I would imagine we start doing A/B testing. So it's moving. So sometime in April, you will start to see ads floating around for sure. Did the potential contact manager accept her position, actually? No, we haven't. Well, we haven't heard back. She was waiting on. She had an offer she was waiting to get an offer from one other interview she had. She had several interviews. She said most of them were shit. It was between CoinMetro and one other player in the market, and she was waiting on their offer so she could compare. And she said she would come back to me once she had their offer. So see if it was a better offer, she was going to tell me. If it was a worse offer, then she probably just going to take ours. If it was better and she liked it, then she would see what we could do. She hasn't gotten back to us, so I assume she hasn't gotten that offer yet. Is there a chance that margin posting will be introduced? No, Q2 probably not. I would hope sometime this year, but Q2 I don't think so. We have too many things to get through in Q2 that I don't think margin posting is going to be one of them. What is that wooden plank with year 2019 on your right side? Wooden plank. Oh, this. This is from Pakistan. This was this Jumpstart Pakistan conference in Islamabad and Lahore that I attended. And because I was one of the guys on stage, I got this nice memorable plaque. So there you go. Rumors suggest that Coinbase are knee-deep along with ETH are heavily involved with new digidollar that the U.S. government plan to roll out. Any plans for CoinMetro with EU to get involved with digital euro? All right, I haven't seen I've seen some of those rumors. I don't know if I believe them. Would the U.S. government be consulting with Coinbase and Ether? Yeah, they might even build it on Ether. Would they be consulting with Coinbase? Sure, they would. They're the biggest exchange in the United States. Why wouldn't they consult with them? What exactly will their role be? Will they be one place to redeem it? Maybe, but by default, wouldn't they be anyway? I mean, they could just list the thing as soon as it's created. So we've been in talks with some governments in Europe and in the EU. Right now, obviously, in the short interim here, we haven't been because of Corona. I would be interested, but I'm not sure really how much of business development really happens there. Then it's just consultancy, but we'll see. Hi, Kev. Have you penciled in a date for the actual CSD launch? Obviously, Corona is impacted. Yeah, don't have a specific date. It's probably going to be May if we can, depending on Corona. If not, it would be June. it really depends on how all this lockdown stuff plans out, travel, etc. Because yeah, there's going to be, but we will have to travel back to Montenegro at least one more time before we can officially go live. When are you planning to increase leverage? I think we have 2 or 3 things that are pending before we do that. Don't have an exact date. I would say tag me in Telegram on this one. I'm shooting for April. When is the new dashboard coming? April also. Sometime this month. We have a very, I think you guys have seen a preview of it. Obviously, it still needs some work, and that work is ongoing. I think there's 2 more sprints, which is 4 weeks in total before we might have a completed dashboard. But I think the first version of the dashboard might go online before that second sprint is out. I think providing an actual personal API would go a long way to boost liquidity in markets without dedicated market makers. At the moment, API is just a public playground demo. Well, you can definitely use the API in production. WebSockets is coming as well. What do you mean by personal API? So let me know what you mean by that. Is CoinMetro approached by lobbyists to be political, banking, or otherwise pushing agenda and forcing their hands on the way CoinMetro does business? No, we're not really approached by lobbyists. We try to be the lobbyists. But no, we haven't really been approached by lobbyists, at least as of yet. Yeah, Lahore without the W, but yeah, not necessarily the first thing that entered my mind when I got there, but obviously I thought about it, because well, I'm human, and yeah. So looks like a toast. It is kind of shaped like toast. It doesn't taste like toast, though, unfortunately. Any word on the new banking partner? Yep, still in the kind of stages, but we have several partners that we're going to be onboarding, both PSPs, banks, other institutions. So lots of different ways, and then one specific bank. But yeah, still in the process with those guys. Or does CoinMetro need to dance with those folks to get a foot in the door to implement new fintech? Well, look, you need to deal. You either do the lobbying or you deal with lobbyists. Lobbying, might sound complicated, and it can be very complicated and expensive, but it can be as simple as getting a meeting with someone with the legislator, or who's a legislator or a regulator, and kind of just telling them what you think, getting in the door, having them ask you your opinion on things, even off the record, just building a relationship. And it can also mean, high power lobbying, where basically you're giving money to elected officials for campaigns, and you're really, knee deep. And we haven't really been approached by those guys yet. I don't think the industry, those guys do exist. Coinbase definitely has a lobbying group in the UK that definitely supports politicians. I almost for sure on that. But we haven't really gotten to that realm yet. But yeah, as you grow, those things become, unfortunately, necessary. Any thoughts about advertising in the Southeast Asian market? At some point, we definitely will. I think with the Ignium, which is the CSD, CoinMetro crossover, that will be a place we market almost immediately from the sandbox. When it comes to CoinMetro as the exchange, it's on the roadmap for sure. But first, we want to conquer Europe, because we're here. We speak the language and we can enable fiat and all these great things here. But yes, definitely, just not maybe in this first marketing effort. When are you going to be able to list new assets? As soon as we get these new banking and non-banking partners onboarded. So that could be end of April, could be early May. Do you think I can use? No, I don't think I can use the API. API linked to my actual account to trade with my actual money. Yeah, you can definitely use the API for sure. Yeah, 100%. Will merch coincide with anybody want to help Uros with the link to our API docs so that he can dig in there? Will merch coincide with first wave marketing? I'm working on the merch now. Have 25 designs, working on stickers, socks. We have stickers, socks, new T-shirts, And also working on the debit card design, which we have one right now that looks fantastic. I think you guys will love it. All that stuff being worked on, and I'm hoping it's kind of like a side project. I don't really have anybody working on it inside of CoinMetro. It's me in my free time, which I don't have that much of. But yeah, I would hope before the summer, I hope to launch the first. Once the merch is kind of circulating, then we can actually make it a CoinMetro project, and somebody can actually probably integrate it with the website. LHV seems useless, never getting their self-assessment guideline finished. Well, I wouldn't call them useless, but we're definitely not their highest priority. That's for sure. What you actually do is you set up the personal API key through the website, then it programmatically to access the account. Yeah, you don't need anyway, you can definitely trade with your account through our APIs, 100%. We simply do it a slightly different way, which is in many cases more secure than how it's done when you create your own API keys individually. Do you get SWIFT transfers back yet, or any U.S. clients to push money to CM apart from credit cards? Not yet, but that's part of with the banks and providers that we're currently in talks with and bringing on. At least 2 of them have SWIFT capabilities, and it will be cheaper than it was previously. There's no such interface on the profile, no, because you don't need to do it in an interface. Just check our documents and you'll find out how to do it. You don't need to generate a key. You need, yeah, that's what I meant. You don't, not that you don't need to generate the key, in that you don't need to generate. There is no way, I guess, is the best way to say it, to generate the key from the dashboard. I guess that's something we could do. Probably makes sense if we have a large amount of API users, as long as it doesn't undermine security. So demo feedback on that one, guys. So we got a few extra minutes here. Anybody else got another question they want to throw out? I'm starving, by the way. Haven't eaten anything all day. Been stuck here on calls, and I have another call literally right after I hang up here. Hang up, is that what you call when you're on a stream? Do you hang up a stream? I don't really know. I don't know. Anybody know? Do you hang up? I don't know. So you heard it here first, guys. No one's heard this news yet. I actually just got a message from that content, the person that we gave the lady we gave the content job to, the offer. Just sent it literally 20 minutes ago. Just saw it now. In other news, I've weighed my options, and I'd love to join your team. So there you go. We have an accepted offer from our new content girl, and I don't know, but I'm pretty excited to see her come on board. I think she's going to do great things. So awesome. End the stream. Okay. How many active users in CM right now? I don't know. Tag me on Telegram. I got to get that information because there's nobody in the office, right? I can't even like just go over my, plus today's a holiday, guys. So even if it, counting is kind of not online right now. End. Okay. Yeah. End the stream. Makes sense. Algo trading company with the tram. Who knows? There was a few of them, actually. Some are still in the process. Some stopped the process. Some didn't communicate. Some are still communicating. Oliver has a few leads right now, actually, that he's pushing through to get at least, I think, 2 new trams online. Will you jump into deep end with regards to the political arena in the future? Yeah, look, for our size, we're already pretty in the deep end, right? Because we've done things that even major players haven't done. So yes, 100% we will. Yeah, you want, well, these, I have to get these renewed because I don't really like this necky bullshit here. But yeah, we'll have some new ones. I have an all over design that we created, which I think is quite cool. QR code, and anyway, you'll see them once they're produced. Bjorn asking, is she single and attractive? I can't answer either of those. So you'll have to make that judgment call for yourself when you see her avatar on Telegram at some point. Jet fuel coming in. All right. I had same problem with API documentation. I couldn't figure out how to generate key on live. I could get demo API working okay. Any chance of adding an example of generating the key? Hey, Pete, please put that in Telegram. Tag it to, you could tag it to me, I guess. You could tag it to Oliver, or do it in our demo feedback channel would be the best place to do it. And we'll make sure that gets straightened up. Yeah, API lessons. There you go. Oliver's sitting in with API lessons. Better be married and old. You know, I don't know if that's, what if it was a dude? Would he have to be married and old? I mean, it's funny because like most dudes in crypto are young and not married, right? But they tend to do their jobs okay. I mean, they might be complete morons in many facets, but you know, I guess they do their jobs all right. When Bjorn will be filthy rich. Yeah, look, every day I wake up, I literally above the side of my bed have a to-do list. And on the top of that to-do list, etched into the wall, it says, make Bjorn filthy rich. And every day I take a small piece of granite and I re-etch it, you know, and then I'm able to brush my teeth in the morning. So yeah, high on the fucking priority list. And I'll get there. He will get there. We will get there. Any quant news? I have no quant news, no. What type of quant news would you like? Is there much pullback from companies, market makers since the major threat of recession? Not yet. Not yet, no. Look, this major global recession is going to affect lots of different industries. It won't affect our industry as much as most others. You know, even Bolt, the kind of Bolt, which is, you know, kind of like Uber, basically exactly like Uber. They're asking, their revenue fell by 85%. They're asking the government for 50 million euros. So, you know, your unicorns of yesterday may become your, you know, unicorn turds of tomorrow. I don't know. It's going to be far reaching. I can tell you that. Well, yeah, there's a bit of a marketing collab. I mean, we do have this ongoing promotion right now. I think 2 free quant or something, signing up through some link somewhere. Oliver can give you a bit more insight onto that, but I do think there is something going on now, though we do plan to ramp it up. Yeah. All right, guys. I'm literally gonna eat my microphone if I sit here any longer, and I'm sure that would probably end up creating some great memes that would be cherished by the community at large. But if I don't eat something, I might just die, and that wouldn't be good for anybody, especially for me, and probably everybody sitting here. So with that, I will give my usual little speech. What's CoinMetro's biggest risk? Biggest risk. No growth. That's our biggest risk, right? All risk becomes mitigated with growth. All risks. Some risks do increase, but the fact that you're growing and creating revenue help you mitigate those risks. So growth, I guess, it would probably be our biggest risk. Peace. Go snack on your Easter egg. Have a good Easter break. Enjoy your Easter. Decentralized exchange getting more popular. I don't expect decentralized exchanges to get. They might get more popular, but regulation will hurt those. And you know, traders aren't going to trade on current tech because it's just too slow. Yeah, I wouldn't want to have to buy a new mic. That's true. All right, guys. So thanks for being here. As always, Zoom with some of your friends and family. Tell them hi. Compare each other's shitty haircuts. You know, talk about this pressing things like how you can't go out, how there's nothing to do, and how you're bored as hell. And don't stand too close to windows. You know, if you go outside, wear 17 masks, PPE, wrap yourself in cellophane. Don't even put a hole in it because, you know, I'd rather not breathe and make sure I'm not getting the virus than breathe and maybe get the virus. I mean, don't be an idiot. You know, and of course, as you're sitting at home with nothing better to do, since, you know, the entire economy globally is going to shit around you, buy some XCM, because of course, you know, what else would you be buying? I mean, come on. Anyway, guys, as always, thank you for being here. Appreciate it. Okay, don't use Zoom then. Microsoft Teams. You know, look, come on, guys. Every one of these things is probably hacked, can be hacked, and has backdoors all over the place. So whatever. You know. Yeah. Okay, cool, guys. Anyway, see you guys next week. Tag me on Telegram at Kevin Murcko. Tag me on Twitter at Kevin Murcko. Tag me wherever you want to tag me, and I will respond. Thank you for you guys. Thank you guys. Great questions this week. Great interactions. Love doing this. We'll be back next week. As long as, even with Corona, I would be here. So don't worry about that. I might be on a ventilator, but that might even make it more funny. Maybe. Anyway, guys, cheers. See you next week.